What's going on? If you just got exposed to the tea, if you just got exposed to the tea, if you just got exposed to the tea that I got exposed to on Miss Miko's live like 20 minutes ago, like, you know what? You know what the giddiness is about, honey. If you know, you just know, okay? I'm still trying to collect myself, girl, for this commentary tonight, girl. Because I can't. I just can't. What's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the CTD. I am your wonderful breakdown host, Davion, aka Consciouztv. If you are in the building, give me a old nasty piece of thumbs up. If you're new here, definitely hit that subscribe button and make sure that you have definitely check that notification box because you want to keep up with all of my lives and uploads. Okay, we're going to get into some Kwame, some Tasha K, some Jason Lee, some Bill Cosby. It's a lot of babes going on. It's just a lot. It's always a lot. Like, I'm thinking Mercury is definitely still in retrograde, even though Mercury is not in retrograde. But I'm like, maybe this is the ass of the tail or the fucking chemtrail, you know, left behind from fucking Mercury's great raw, because all hell is just breaking all types of loose, okay? So we got some things to get into. We're going to get into them, girl. Share the stream out. Do what you got to do. And we'll be right back for tonight's commentary. Okay.
I know the place where you can your soul. And in the midst of brokenness, you gon' see your asshole. You gon' heal, you gon' laugh, and catch a little shade. Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, so y'all commenting on the her. Yes, this is an old nasty piece of turquoise cyan. It's mixed with like these adore greens and different tones of greens. So there's like some blue and type hints all up in here. I actually am needing to do something with like these 40-inch kinky straight bundles. And I'm thinking what color I want to do, because I pretty much got hair in like every mainstream color. I'm thinking about going like completely rainbowed out, because I'm gonna bleach that hair, dye that hair, and she's just gonna be long and luxurious for no damn reason, but I just cannot make up a color. Now, on to business, okay? 2 men and a lady was supposed to happen tonight, but we had to reschedule. So you guys make sure to check us out on the Wiley Show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? We're going to be getting into some teams. We have a really dope docket lined up, girl. It's going to be a hot and heavy show, okay? Also, is that it? Is that it? I felt like I had some more church announcements, but maybe I don't. We do have an update regarding Larry Reed Live's case coming up, okay? But there's like literally a lot going on. Like, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. There are class action lawsuits that are being gathered together, girl. There's like a lot going on. There are open investigations, like, but I'm going to reserve, okay, the right to speak right now until this next thing needs to happen. And then when that next thing happens, we will be right back here, girl, and I will be giving y'all a full spill out on where we are. In the meantime, honey, subscribe and check out Miss Miko, honey. She dropped some shit tonight. Go over there after this live. Now, tonight's commentary is definitely inspired by one of the most recent events that kind of really shook America, both in a negative and a positive way, and that has to do with our uncle Bill Cosby's release, okay? I don't think nobody ever saw this coming. I know I damn sure didn't. Thank you. Everybody say I'm glowing. Look, I'm in a great place, okay? I'm just in a great place. I don't know how else to explain it. Maybe we get into it on Patreon, you know, I said open up about some things, honey, but it's a good time to be alive, at least for CTV, and I'm hoping that that'll be the case for everyone else. But headways were shook, so caught up the accusers and the victims of those who have been date raped allegedly by Bill Cosby. They were shook. They have pits in their stomach. America is divided. People don't know how to really feel, or some people do. There are people who just happy to see a black man come home because fuck it, the criminal justice system is fucked, right? And then there's also people who are completely grieved by this because they don't feel that it is justice and that this was just wrong on all levels. But we're going to get into Bill Cosby at the end. I am going to drop the link in case you guys want to chime in on all of that, or even what we're going to be talking about right now, which is Mr. Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown. Okay. Kwame Brown is like that nigga right now. Okay. He's the new that nigga right now, especially out here on these YouTube streets. Kwame's name is in everybody's mouth, from The Breakfast Club to CNN. I mean, he's doing it, okay? We also want to shout out Kwame Brown because he did push through here like a week or two ago when I did some commentary on his interview with Judge Joe Brown. He came through, he spoke, he was real nice. I really like Kwame, but I'm getting scared for Kwame. And he went live last night and asked a question that I want to speak to. And you guys can give your responses too, because I'm really interested to know what you guys also think about the question that he posed at the end of his live last night. Now, before we get to the now, we got to go back, okay? Kwame asked a question that was off of the heels of a total debauchery right now that's going on between Jason Lee, you guys know, gag order, and our baby mother, our auntie, Tasha motherfucking K, okay? All hell done broke motherfucking loose. Let me see if I can pull up these two pictures. Well, fuck it. I'm going to go to them second. So let's climb, because we got a bill from them to Kwame. So Tasha K and Jason Lee are just like showing their entire ass right now. They have literally dragged the SSI checks out of each other's fucking bank accounts. Like, both Jason and Tasha should be completely edgeless at this fucking point. Like, they've snatched fucking wigs, okay? It's been ugly. Like, Jason Lee, I don't know what the catalyst was to the bullshit. These two have a long history of feuding and fucking fighting, but whatever happened caused Jason Lee to just go in on Tasha K, saying she's an ugly bitch, calling her baby a bitch, talking about her what you call it, her bankruptcy, like just a total lowball drag. But you guys know Tasha K is also a drag type of a bitch as well. So Dragoness came through with the come through, completely dug and opened up Jason's asshole like ×2. Like, the nigga definitely is wearing a pamper at this point. She came for him being adopted. She came for his ass being an ugly light-skinned nigga, and he's ugly for a light-skinned nigga. They both have made very colorist statements and insults to each other, from Jason calling her a black ugly bitch to Tasha saying you're ugly for. It's just been a lot, okay? So as these two are going at it, Jason Lee enters into a whole nother fucking controversy, okay, with Safaree. You guys know Nicki Minaj's ex, honey, okay? Let's do it, okay? I think this was right before the BET Awards, or yeah, it was right before the ceremony. Jason Lee and Safaree went live, honey, okay? And there's a reason why I'm sharing all this with y'all, okay? Because it's all a part of the situation. So Safaree calls Jason Lee on FaceTime, okay, Instagram. I don't know what this was. Either way, Jason was clearly inebriated, fucked up, getting his whole entire life out of his motherfucking mind. Safaree pulled up and Jason Lee pretty much told Safaree that he's fine as fuck and got a big ass dick. As a result, Safaree was like, nigga, what the fuck? Like, we're here to celebrate, you know, blackness and the BET Awards, like called him sick in the fucking head and then hung up on him. It was quite embarrassing, okay? There's also a video traveling around of Jason Lee completely like turned. He's like drunk and falling over or falling asleep like while outside at some fucking bungalow. Like there's just a lot going on, girl, okay? So from there, okay, let's take this down, honey. Well, you know what? I shouldn't have taken it down. Let me speak to this first before we get to the Kwame portion. So, first of all, Tasha K and Jason Lee dragging the shit out of each other. I'm probably going to have an unpopular opinion here. They both said some ugly and have said some very ugly, problematic shit to one another. But it's really hard to like really judge either one of these individuals for the way they fight and feud, because their brand is debauchery. So what I don't understand from a viewer's perspective is when I see like the fans completely fucking outraged and like, oh, Jason went too far and Tasha went too far. I'm like, their brands are rooted in pressing the fucking gas and going completely fucking ape shit. Like Tasha K is in a whole fucking lawsuit with Cardi B, who's attempting to, you know, sue the fucking nipples off of her titty right now because Tasha K presses the gas. So if we are watching them press the gas and drag celebrities and, you know, cross all of the lines they shouldn't when it comes to, you know, these pop stars and politicians and these famous folk that they fucking drag, why would we then like compartmentalize that in a way? And then when they're saying problematic shit to each other, be like, you're going too far. I don't like, it's hypocrisy. Stop it. These are two people who go too fucking far. Okay? And you don't get to watch a Tasha K or watch a Jason Lee and then take the moral high ground when they go too fucking far, because you're here for the shit when either one of them are taking it too far with everyone else, and you click that subscribe button. So let's not just be fucking hypocritical. Like, if you want to be that moral and you want to be that hot and holy, and, you know, we should keep kids out of it and skin color out of it, then those people shouldn't be supporting Jason or fucking Tasha. But you can't support them and then choose which part of their evil you support and don't fucking support, okay? So just pick a side, pick a side, pick a side, and pick a motherfucking side. Let's just stop with the hypocrisy shit. Now, in terms of this whole, like, FaceTime with Safaree, I'm probably going to have another unpopular fucking opinion, okay? Because people were saying that Jason Lee went too far. You know, he's a gay man being explicit with a man who is alleged and assumed to be a cis hetero man. And it was so stereotypical of him to be the stereotypical punk and come on to a straight nigga, make him uncomfortable. And this is why straight niggas don't align with us. And this is why straight guys don't fuck with gay guys now. Look. Can we also clock the bullshit on that too? Like, can we not do it? Like, if you're friends with Jason Lee, I have to assume logically that you know exactly what personality type you're dealing with. And so I was low-key not even more shook by Jason Lee coming on to Safaree. I was more shook that Safaree act like he wasn't talking to Jason Lee. Like, you FaceTimed Jason Lee. Like, he's Jason Lee. Like, kind of like how Donald Trump is Donald fucking Trump. So, I was like, what? Like, I'm not sure if you get to be the victim either, Safaree, because you're friends and FaceTiming Jason Lee. Of course, he was going to be with the shits. Of course, he was going to say something appalling Jason Lee is a fucking shock jock. So I also just wasn't here either for, you know, I just ain't here for the victimhood, like, with none of these motherfuckers. It's just like, girl, y'all know what y'all getting into with all of this and all of these people. Just stop it. So from there, okay, this man here, let me share Kwame Brown, honey. Okay, hold on. I gotta do something real quick. Hold on. I gotta do something. Okay, all right. Get it together. Okay, so listening to you guys to put my clothes on. What's going on, Phyllis? So this is Kwame Brown, you guys. Ex-NBA player, now social media influencer. Does a lot of interesting dialogue and conversations and talk about Black women, the Black community. You know, just like he just gets into some teens like the rest of us. So he caught the debauchery between Tasha K and Jason Lee, and he posed a question to the audience, which was, is there a difference between gay men dragging Black women and straight men dragging Black women? Because when gay men call a woman every type of a bitch and motherfucking whore and everything else, it seems like ultimately it's accepted from Black women's community. But if a straight Black man uses that same language, that is on and fucking popping. Because hell, isn't it on and popping when Kevin Samuels drags the shit out of Black women and doesn't even use language that is as harsh as sometimes the language is when gay Black men drag Black women, etc.? And he was like, is it different? Is this equality? So we gotta talk about it, honey. Okay, let me, should I move Kwame? What can I do with this? I guess I'll leave it here. Kwame just looks sexy to me. He is. So this is the answer to that question. Is there a double standard? Yeah, perspective-wise, there's a double standard. Like, one set of Black men are getting away with something that another set of Black men aren't getting away with. But Kwame, that has a lot to do with privilege, sir, okay? When you see gay Black men in debauchery and fuckery with Black women and they're dragging each other, the reason why Black women accept it and the reason why there's really no backlash is because it's two minority groups, almost like equal in terms of being a minority. Like and I'm talking about the hierarchical circle within the Black community. Like there's Black men on top as the alpha, as the head, as Western religion has conditioned Black people to seat the man at the top. The Black man is the head of the household. He's dad. Woman comes under that. Queer Black people, particularly queer Black women and men, fall under Black women. And then there's trans women sitting like ass to concrete, okay? Who take the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. Now, and I'm just talking about in terms of like why there's not as much of a backlash when gay men do this and Black men do this. Not that what I'm saying makes the disrespect from either party correct, but I'm just explaining why it looks the way that it looks socially, okay? Because not only do a lot of the gay men who flock with Black women also share that feminine energy, when you see biological women, that's just the divine feminine represented physically as woman. When you see other effeminate people, whether it's trans women, whether it's flamboyant men who are either straight or gay, what you're seeing is the same divine feminine energy, just represented as something else, represented as male, represented as gay, represented as trans, but it's the same spirit. So when you're looking at gay on Black woman, you're looking at a cis on cis crime, okay? This is why Black women don't really pay the shit no mind, and this is ultimately why gay black men also pay it dust when it comes to dysfunction and contention and being combative with each other, and it not becoming what it becomes when straight men do it, okay? Now, because in the hierarchical system and us living within the West and this being a fucking patriarchy, okay? White men hold that power socially within the West, okay? But in the black community, black men also hold that male privilege. Women, black women particularly, are not after gay men. They're not getting pretty for us. They're not being groomed for marriage to marry us. They're being groomed from the time they come into this world to be with you niggas, you straight dudes, okay? So when you guys hurl insults to women, it's going to sit differently than it does with gay men, because women are after appealing to you. So when you tell her her titties sag, when you tell her her pussy ain't right, when you tell her she looks big as fuck in a dress, when you drag her for her weight, when you drag her for her appearance, those things mean something to women. Because women, particularly straight black women, are looking to belong, be validated, and ultimately chosen by straight men. Gay black men are just literally a sibling to black women. You niggas are who they ultimately are after. So it's going to be a different level of impact when straight men criticize women, because women, of course, are attracted to men and want men to be attracted to them, want to share their lives, share their bodies, share their wounds, share their everything with men. And so when men are disapproving, either by being mean and fucking nasty or being superficial as hell, or do whatever the hell straight black men do that makes women, black women particularly, feel rejected, feel unattractive, whether it's choosing the light-skinned bitch over her, whether it's choosing the more voluptuous woman over her, whether it's choosing the skinnier woman over her, like, it's going to mean something to women, okay? That's just the world you guys have. Yeah, no. Yeah. That's the world y'all created. So, once again, when it will look the same. If you're looking from the outside, it's like, no, it's men though. Gay men are men though. It should be the same. This is why social norms and power and privilege and those dynamics become real. We see it play out, okay? Like when a nigga calls another nigga a nigga, that ain't gonna hit you the way that when a pilgrim or a cave dweller calls you a nigga. Even if when that nigga calls you a nigga, he means it disrespectfully. Because of who it's coming from, because of the context of the relationship, is why one insult or one situation is going to be different on one group to another group versus one group to another group. Okay? Like, privilege and social hierarchical systems are real. Our entire social infrastructure is created this way. This is why we're dismantling privilege. This is why women are fighting for equality. This is why LGBT folk are fighting for visibility, because these social orders, they're not real in and of themselves, but we are a society who believes in these orders and believe we have to have these orders, and therefore moving through and navigating those orders. Okay. Black women is the mother of all creation and the white male population. Okay, so Kwame, one more thing, okay? Because I just wanted to answer your question before we move on to Bill. But I also want to say this, bro. Like, from one gay man to my straight black counterpart, I need to know, what are your politics? Because we are low-key a little confused in the black LGBT community, because sometimes we see you kind of cape for us and sometimes be like, yo, gay people are alright with me. Them niggas sometimes are realer than some of you pussy-ass straight niggas. Like, we've seen you make those comments, which makes us feel like, okay, Is Kwame, is he an ally? Is he cool? And then there's other comments that you make where you be like, yo, I don't understand how them niggas can take it in the ass. I don't understand, yo, like how you gonna want to suck another dick? And we just be like, okay. So I'm gonna slingshot a question back to you. Can you do a commentary in a video and just let it be plainly stated and plainly understood, like the Bible says, make the shit plain? Can you tell us what your politics are when it comes to the LGBT community? Are you cool? Are these people all right? Or is it a problem? Is the LGBT community a problem for you? Like, because we just a little bit confused. He just don't like the behavior. Okay, see, I don't know what the behavior is. He was speaking on behavior and what is acceptable. So, yeah, I get that part. Like, I get that part that he's talking about the behavior. But, yeah, the behavior is going to be different because respectability politics are real. Society is based upon classisms. And so it almost like when Kwame was asking the question about whether queer, like whether it's the same disrespect when gay men do it versus when straight men do it to women. It kind of reminded me of like when white people are like, use that same argument too. Like when we call them honkies or crackers or we use a racial slur, why is there an exception for black people when black people come for white people versus when white people turn around and use those same racial slurs like nigga, monkey, gorilla, y'all know the likes. And once again, it's because of that classism system and the way that power is created because of classism. So when minority people come from people who have more social power or come for the majority, of course it can't translate the same because minority people don't have the actual, they don't have the power to actually oppress you in any kind of way. Yes, a minority person can insult the majority. Yeah, they can hurl an insult. Yeah, they can be prejudiced, but they can't be racist or sexist in that way if they don't have the social infrastructure or the social backing to reinforce that oppression. It kind of reminds me of like an episode of The Grapevine that I was also watching where there was like a conversation over the double standards of the beauty community. And black men were saying that, you know, while there are beauty standards that are for women and those beauty standards are harsh, but that black men endure beauty standards too, like not having a functional hairline, like women saying that they want a man who look good in sweatpants, you know, who look good in sweatpants and, you know, dick size and all these things. And while you as a man can be hurt and can be impacted by the beauty standards created by women, because ultimately, overwhelmingly, based upon the way that we're all socialized, based upon gender and color, okay? Even though black women or women have their preferences when it comes to men, nobody has the power to actually reinforce those standards, but those who hold the power. And in this matrix, it's fucking men. So you don't see men going, and because of that, you don't see men going out getting cosmetic surgeries to impress women in the same volume that you see women doing all types of things, healthy and unhealthy, to alter themselves, to alter their appearance, to appease those in power. Because that power is perceived to be fucking real. And people make decisions and shape their lives all around those who have privilege, okay? So women have the right to say it, but men have the right to reinforce it. That's why we call it patriarchy. That's why we call it privilege. I was saying this to Wiley when we were talking about something, and he was saying on Two Men and a Lady, he was saying something, and I was trying to get him to understand privilege, because, you know, Wiley has a lazy eye. And I was telling him, look at it this way. When other kids who had a disability teased you, it probably didn't mean as much to you, right, as people who don't have a disability. Like the insults of those who don't have a disability, right? Like, because the people who don't have a disability make up the majority of the school campus, or make up the majority of those in the family, in the neighborhood. And so when those people bully you and tease you, it's going to hit differently than the insult from another person who maybe is in a wheelchair, or someone who's blind, or someone who has a deformity, because those people, those minority people, don't have the power to even make their insults truly real. They don't have any real power to also oppress you in any other way. They can't pass legislation or create social norms that act in a way that oppresses you, but those in power do. They set the standards. This is why you see what you see in the magazines. You have to think about who has the power to control what you see, who has the power to design these social constructs, who is the people who hold the power to create the beauty standards, who are the people in power to create the dynamics between gender. They're authors to these things. This is why we're in a fight to dismantle power now. So it's all about power. It's all about social constructs, and it's all about those who have the power to reinforce that. And Black gay men don't have the power to oppress Black women. But hold on, you guys, but Black straight men do. Hi. Hi. I'm on live.
Oh, all right. I'll call you back.
I tell them hi.
I said hi, family.
Okay, I will call you when I'm done, because I'm about to be done in 30 minutes. All right, bye. Period. So, Kwame, there it is. There's your answers. Privilege is real. And you know, the easy way to combat this, if everybody want to be equal, right? Like if Black men want to be able to drag the shit out of Black men, out of Black women, and if y'all want to truly be equal, you know what that means, Black man? Black men have to actually start fighting for equality and not be fighting for power. When people are willing to come up off their privilege, all of these social constructs and these classism systems will collapse. They're only upholding themselves because people who have power and who have privilege don't want to give it up. So if everybody truly wants to be equal, like if it truly bothers Black straight men that bad, like, oh, I just wish I could get away with calling a Black woman a nappy-headed, bald-headed hoe the way that Jason Lee can, or Billy Porter can, just name an example. Fine. I'm glad you want to do that. Since you want to do that, help us to destroy privilege. White male privilege will collapse Black male privilege. Nobody has privilege. Everybody then is on an equal playing field. And then we can truly live in an equal society. But you can't uphold power and then want to be equal in situations. You got to pick a side. You can't cherry pick and have it both ways. You can't be a part of the majority, utilize that privilege at your convenience, and then when there are spaces you can't be in because you're too privileged to be in those spaces, those fights, those debacles are only for minority on minority folk. You can't be mad that you're not allowed into the club. Like, you shouldn't even want to be in the fucking club. But the fact that you get to desire to be in the club is even out of privilege as well. The fact that you even like have the fact that you even think or feel entitled to it is what your privilege affords you to desire. It's too much privilege and it's unnecessary. Okay, so I'm fine with Black men wanting to fight with Black women, or whatever, or Black women wanting to be able to create, like, that means that everybody got to give up their power. Now, that's going to be the true testament for all of us, for everybody who wants to be equal. You're truly fighting for fucking equality, that means come down off that power and actually fight for fucking equality, because you can't uphold privilege and still have power. Now, moving along. How can we win, CTV? I agree with you, but I don't like win. Okay, yeah, so before we move on, I just want to say, I'm only responding and explaining why the social dynamics look the way they look. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm not saying that it's right for a woman to degrade the living shit out of a man, irregardless of sexuality, irregardless of what, and it's not okay for a man to drag the shit out of a woman, irregardless. Like, disrespect is disrespect, okay? But why it means what it means to one group versus another group is because of the social hierarchical systems. But it doesn't justify the behavior. So I'm not talking about the behavior. I'm just saying why Kwame can't get away with what Jason Lee was able to get away with, and it's because of that black male heterosexual cis hetero privilege. That's why you can't get away with it. That's why also when gay people, when like me, I'm a gay black man, when I drag cis hetero men, there's no sting, because you have the privilege as a cis hetero black man to not give a fuck about what I feel and think. I was just a part of a fucking panel where a cis hetero black man used his privilege on a panel to tell me that he doesn't care about the way I feel because he has the privilege to not give a fuck. Okay? So when I say anything about cis hetero men, and then cis hetero men want to act like, oh, well, you know, you get to say this and you get to be critical like this, but when we get to, yeah, bitch, because there's an issue of fucking power. And when you act ignorant and reckless with your fucking mouth and then don't vet or think critically about what you believe and what you say, it's at my fucking expense. So when you spew that homophobic shit, my life is in danger, because you represent the source of power that has the power to tell other straight cis hetero men that you need the other queer people too. If I, as a queer person, tell you to back the fuck up off me, that I'm normal and you should accept me as a cis hetero person, you get to choose whether you want to do that or not. My rhetoric isn't dangerous when I talk shit about cis hetero folk. When cis hetero folk talk about trans individuals or talk about homosexual individuals, that's an endangerment. That's an endangerment. And see, no, you can't understand that when you're just looking at the situation, because all you're looking at it is, no, if black gay men get to drag cis hetero men and get to go certain places in those dialogues and in that rhetoric, then so should cis straight men be able to be. But the reason why it's not is because one group pays for it in the worst way when another group isn't mindful of the religions they create that kill and murder people, okay? That patriarchal shit is represented within the religiosity of the West, where in that Bible, written and authored, put together and organized, remixed, redefined by men, in that Bible is weaponized against queer people. It's weaponized against women, okay? This is why women believe that they should be virgins and should be pure and should be subservient to men, okay? This is why cis hetero folk believe that queer people are an abomination and are unnatural and all of this shit, because the privileged people of the world wrote a book and informed the rest of the world how they should feel and treat and create societies, even if it meant that people would die as a result of those ideologies, even if it meant that gender genocide would happen against women. Look at what's happening in the East, where women's genitalia is being mutilated all around ideology and sexism wrapped up into fucking patriarchal power. Because we're talking about power and privilege created by way of classism and social hierarchical systems. It's never a fair fight. I know that it looks like it's a fair fight, but it's not. And you can only understand that when you understand the way that power and privilege works. That's the only way it'll make sense to you. If you won't acknowledge that power and privilege exist, then you're going to be out here thinking that it just looks that it looks the same, and that it's the same impact, and that it's the same fallout. It's not. It doesn't even do the same damage. And when you are a minority person, you don't have the fucking power to do anything. Black people can be prejudiced, but black and brown people cannot be racist. They don't have the power to be racist. They don't. Black people can call white people names. That's it. That's all they can do. It's called white folk names. But that's why we out here in the streets, crying out to a corrupted criminal justice system, crying out to a corrupted police task force, having to deal with the way that black bodies are disproportionately dying in the streets, disproportionately sentenced in comparison to their white counterparts, because those who are in power look like the people who get to walk free. And those who have to do a whole bid look like those who are not, don't look like those who are not in power. So the majority oftentimes rule, and whoever has the power over the resources to create privilege, occupy it over everyone else. Thank you so much, I am Bach. If you can dish it, you better be able to take it, no matter what gender. That's how I am. And I'm just like, girl, I don't feel sorry for Jason Lee or Tasha K in this situation. They dragged each other to fucking death. They drag everybody else to death. It was a dragoness versus a dragon, and they both are a part of minority communities. And ultimately, like, it just is what the fuck it is. So moving along, and Kwame, if you catch this video, can you please, once again, just let us know, are you homophobic or are you with the gays? Because you seem to kind of talk out of both sides of your mouth, and we just want to clear it up. What really is going on? Okay? All right. So God bless Kwame. Let's move along, honey, to Bill Cosby. Honey, because y'all was about to wear me out yesterday about the Bill Cosby. Oh, yes. Okay. Boom, shakalaka, shakalaka. I am sweating in front of all these fucking lights, bruh. Let me get rid of all this shit up on my thing. Okay. So, guys, here it is. Bill Cosby, girl. Hold on. Let me, girl, this is Bill Cosby, child. Okay. What's going on, Big Rainy? What's going on, baby? What's going on? Hey, Shirley. What's going on, Latrina? Okay. So, this is Bill Cosby, y'all. Bill Cosby, honey, okay? He was freed yesterday, as I said earlier. The world was split down the middle. Okay, let's talk about it. Let me do it. So, I did a commentary initially. You guys go watch that commentary. It'll make sense in terms of why I'm coming back to say this. So, I get it. People feel away. They should. Bill Cosby is guilty of the crimes he committed. He admitted to guilt in the deposition, okay? That was a part of the plea deal that he took, is that he would admit to guilt. They then would not charge him criminally, but would then charge him civilly, okay? Because he ended up taking the plea deal, the deposition has Cosby admitting to using quaaludes, using his privilege as a famous, wealthy man to coerce women into sexual acts that maybe that coercion would have had no power behind had he just been a regular post office, McDonald's supervisor, okay? Because once again, we're talking about the reality of power and its impact is seduction over people with no privilege, okay? This is why there's a casting couch situation. You all know what happens on the casting couch. There are tales and tales and tales within the industry, from musicians to actors and actresses who have been put in situations where technically they had the right to leave. They weren't fucking raped, but when your back is up against the wall, somebody's holding something over your head that you want. And they also have the power to control whether you get hired. They have the power to control whether you get housing. They have the power to control and to make or break something that may mean a bit more to you than your morals at the time. Then this can cause a person to compromise themselves. And this is reasonably considered. Like, it might not necessarily be illegal to put somebody in a compromising situation, but it certainly can be argued that it's not ethical to do so, right? Just like, I ain't even gonna go there. So with that being said, people who are victims of sexual assault, even the victims in this case, who helped to put Bill Cosby behind bars. Bars, technically, he shouldn't have been behind. They felt the way. They felt bamboozled and hoodwinked by the system. It was a lot going on. What's going on? Fine, O'Brien. Hey, we gotta break this down because, and this is for the criticism around his freedom. If you want to be completely technical about it, you really have to address the system and not address Bill Cosby. Because I even had, people commenting saying, oh, here we go, another abuser of women who is set free in the world. And I understand it. I understand the way that it looks. I understand that this is not something that obviously is going to be attractive as a circumstance to women, considering that this man has preyed upon woman. He's preyed upon woman. But however, the issue is still the criminal justice system. And this is why. What's going on, Real Dance Nay? This is why. Bill Cosby had legal options. So if you're mad at Bill Cosby, you got to be mad at the system. The criminal justice system gave Bill Cosby legal options. You could be charged and tried criminally, or you have the legal option of pretty much settling out of fucking court based upon these said here conditions. Bill Cosby only entertained what was legal for him to entertain. He took the plea deal in exchange for a honest confession and a admission of fault and guilt on his part. So technically, we would have never even saw Bill Cosby in prison at all had the criminal justice system, had the prosecutor done the right thing. And my question with that being said is, what would this narrative now look like? Because Bill Cosby, had the plea deal went accordingly, had there been no unethical practices on behalf of the prosecutors, had that not ever fucking happened, okay, he would have just settled out of court like a lot of offenders do. Bill Cosby is hardly the first person involved in predatory behavior that had the legal option to settle out of court and to pay victims off in the millions. This has happened historically within the criminal justice system of the West. So I think it's a bit of a misnomer for those who are irate and upset at this, to kind of reduce this to being about Cosby walking free, more so than the bigger issue, which is the criminal justice system. Because you should really be asking yourself, why is someone who's done something wrong given an option to pay their way out of prison time, pay their way out of federal time, pay their way out of being jailed? Because that's something that the legal system put in place, not Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby didn't create the variables that played into his freedom physically in this case. He didn't create that. He benefited from the way the criminal justice system is designed, but he did not create it. So I can understand being mad at Bill Cosby, but you have to be even more upset at the fact that criminals have these options given to them by a system that is supposed to be responsible for bringing criminals to justice. That seems to be what's bizarre to me, not Bill Cosby being released. I understand what has happened here. I understand how Bill Cosby was able to walk free. I totally fucking get it. But it's interesting that Bill Cosby played off of legalities put in place for him to play off of. And if you also want to be just a bit more technical, he had a sentence of 3 to 10 years. Technically, he also served 3 years. Technically, he served his time, even if it was minimal. Now, I'm not arguing or saying whether that's right or just or not. I'm just laying out the facts and the technicality here. He technically served 3 of the 10 years that was rendered to him. So technically, he did go to prison because he technically did something wrong. He technically served his time, even though it was the minimal time of the sentence given, and he was able to walk free based upon a technicality. In a way, it kind of looks like everybody kind of really got what they want. Because once again, if you are going to have an issue with Bill Cosby, you have to also address, okay, the system. Because now you have to ask yourself, if a man admits to drugging women, taking advantage of them while they were immobilized and paralyzed and unconscious, and used his fame to coerce them into a sexual position, why would the criminal justice system even set a sentence for a predator that fucking low? Why would that be the minimum? Why would the minimum sentence not be 7 years or 10 years or 12 years or 15 years? Once again, no matter if you're on the side that has an issue with his freedom, yes, you can focus on Bill Cosby, but you really can't avoid having to address the fuckery of the system. That what we call a criminal justice system allows for acquittal, allows for people to confess to crimes and pay their way out of prison and out of accountability by way of plea deals, that the same criminal justice system sets minimal prison time, even if it's for a person who is a perpetual criminal. But if we're going to talk technically everybody got what they wanted. Bill Cosby got what he wanted because technically he was never supposed to be in fucking prison because he took a fucking plea deal. So he walked away home because he was never supposed to be in prison to begin with. He settled for the plea deal, settled for the deposition, paid these motherfucking victims off in millions. So he was never supposed to be in prison. And if you got a problem with that, you have to have a problem with the system that gave him the option to monopoly his way out of prison time. That's not a Cosby issue. That's a criminal justice issue. Technically, because the prosecutor took an unethical action, Bill Cosby went to prison and did real life time. So technically, if you're mad, the man did go to prison, and he sat in prison for years. And by the time he was released after serving the minimum of the sentence. I would even say, for those who are being like, why did they wait so long to catch the technical error? I would say maybe it was even intentional. Maybe a judge somewhere was making sure that at least Bill Cosby served 3 years before they would overturn or overstep the verdict. Okay, because it is just a little bit ironic that they didn't get a hold of this technicality or wasn't able to manifest his freedom in 6 months after being locked up, after 2 weeks of being locked up, after 9 months of being locked up, after a year being locked up, after 2 years of being locked up, but after 3 years, which happens to be the minimum of the sentence. Yeah, something seems a little like by design. That's a little bit too ironic, honey do the brown. Thank you, dear vet. Okay, let me read these comments, honey. We don't want to ever be accused of something and then go to jail based off of how people feel about us and not the physical evidence. We should not let emotions replace the written law. And right, and so even and to that point, Miss Oz, like once again, the law, like I find it interesting that people want the law to be integral in this case and criminalize a criminal, but they don't want the same criminal justice system to be integral enough to keep its word if they make a person who's done wrong, even if they give that person a plea deal. That was an integral gesture on behalf of the criminal justice system. Like it's not computing with me. You want the criminal justice system to be integral enough to lock a motherfucker up, but not technical enough to keep his fucking word and to set a motherfucker free, because technically it was a technicality. I'm not like what Bill Cosby did to women was fucked up. But that's not what this commentary is about. It's about how some people are allowing themselves to be distracted by focusing upon Bill Cosby, when this is an opportunity to really focus upon a criminal justice system that is very flawed, that doesn't have a lot of nuance, that has layers upon racism and white supremacy embedded in it, that is set up weird, because even when it comes to the criminal justice system, it's a lot of times not even about right or wrong, but more so who has the smarter lawyer. And so there's a lot fundamentally wrong with the way the criminal justice system is designed. Black people have always known this personally. We've been on the unfair end of the stick, you know, with every fucking system in this goddamn white supremacy ass country. Okay? But you can't be a hypocrite. You can't be a hypocrite and desire the criminal justice system to be integral to lock Bill Cosby up, but not be integral enough to set his ass free, because they fucked up. They fucked up. And the man was never supposed to be in prison, but he did do his time, and he did 3 years of it. And that also happens to be the minimum of the fucking 10-year sentence. So the situation came full circle. And ultimately, you have to, if you are upset at this and you feel let down that Bill Cosby is out, just consider that the person who they locked up and the person who they set free is a 80-plus-year-old man with cataracts, blind in one eye, who has no independent mobility. He's already in prison. He's going home to lay on a couch and to be taken care of. So still, justice and karma prevailed. Don't forget that if you are upset, that karma still prevailed. If you are a part of the upset team, karma prevailed. Either way. My AA boo says, facts, because what if someone like a crazy Karen just accused any one of us of some crime and we went to jail because she and her friends went to court and cried and said we did something we didn't? And this happened. Emmett Till, so like the part 5, you know, these black boys were accused of a crime against white women that wasn't true. So many Karens have done just that. Maybe one of the other fucking fundamental, you know, one of the flaws to the criminal justice system as well is the fact that only the Bill Cosbys and those who have wealth and access to wealth would have the power to afford a quality legal system. Because obviously Little Ray Ray and Deshaun, who locked up over some bullshit, don't have access to the quality of legal defense that a Bill Cosby do. You know, the Deshaun's and the Ray Rays have a state-appointed attorney. You know? And so, once again, these are all issues. And this is why there are conversations around whether the criminal justice system needs to be abolished altogether, whether it needs to be profoundly reformed. And those are necessary conversations to have right now. Because non-privileged folk don't get to benefit in the way that Bill Cosby got to benefit. And he was actually guilty in a situation. There are innocent black men and women sitting in prison who are doing sentences and doing decades of time in hardcore federal fucking prison and don't have the wherewithal or the means or the resources to be able to accomplish what Bill Cosby accomplished, which is a competent legal system that's able to properly vet the fucking case, look for those necessary loopholes, and get their ass out of the fucking predicament that they're fucking in. That's why we got to change the criminal justice system. We got to do it. We got to fucking do it. D. Derry says, I agree with you 1000% regarding Tasha K and Jason Lee. People tune in for the cray-cray, and they're both known to consistently cross boundaries, so don't clutch your pearls when they do. Period, D. Derry, period. That's all we saying. Oz Garden says, still here listening, but about to do some yard work. We about to wrap it up. This is the end, girl. Just be real. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. Ganja Queen, what's going on, baby mother? Speak, boo. That's what we have to see. That's what we have to see beyond Bill. Yes, the actual criminal justice system. Just remember, focus on the system. The system allowed this. The system allowed for a sexual predator to be sent, you know, to do a minimum of 3 fucking years. Deal with the system. The system allowed a sexual predator to buy his way out of prison time. This is not about Bill. This is about a bigger issue, if there's an issue at all. It's the criminal justice system. And we got to tackle its inconsistencies and think about ways in which we can re-envision what justice may even look like and recreate our fucking world because of these things like this. And we aren't even going to be able to do that fucking work until we actually destroy white supremacy, because the prison industrial complex is the criminal industrial complex, along with the police task force, are a birth child of white supremacy. So we can't even begin to reform the criminal justice system or the fucking police until we actually confront, dismantle successfully white fucking supremacy. Everything is going to have to go back to white supremacy and the abolishment of white fucking supremacy before we can clean up the crazy shit within our society and clean up the blood off of America's streets and really have just, rational systems that are integral and effective. Whether that's the American school system and curriculum, whether that's the American government itself, whether that's, once again, the prison industrial complex, the police task force, we got to get to the root of the motherfucking 2T. Big Rainey says, in most cases within the so-called criminal system, money talks while real justice walks. Poor folks are fucked when it comes to trying to obtain justice. That's why cyber bullies get away with so much bullshit, okay? You guys will also, to Big Rainey's point, be so surprised at how there are so many laws not put in place to account for cyberbullying and cyber attacking. I don't know if that's because the internet is a new thing, social media is a new thing, and so we are creating laws now, but those laws are still in a primitive state. They're still in a very infant state, okay? Because to Big Rainey's point, there's not a lot not legally, but there's not a lot of legislation and laws created around the harassment and stalking and the beating that people take online. You do have the option to sue people, to put gag orders on people, but even those systems weren't created with social media in mind. You know, a gag order is a gag order. Whether that gag order qualifies on a physical level or whether you're gagging someone through a cease and desist or through an injunction online. But we need specific laws around cyberbullying and the level of emotional and psychological and sometimes physical violence that also transpires online. We also need just social media platforms, right, to reinforce their own fucking community guidelines. You got people who have done the fucking most, who should not have been able to do the fucking most on Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat or on Facebook or on YouTube, because those actions are completely in contradiction to what the social media platforms say they stand against. They give you the option to report shit, but don't reinforce what the fuck you're reporting. They say you can't do this on the platform, but then once again, there's no fucking reinforcement of the fucking house rules. So it's a lot of bullshit. But I just wanted to come through with that. I do have to get out of here, you guys. Kwame Brown, I still love you, bro. Is you homophobic, my nigga, or is you not? And I hope that if you come across this video like you did in the last one, that I added some context. Don't let the green hair fool you. Because if you do go to run this motherfucking video on your massive ass platform, I know them niggas in your stream gonna drag my gay ass. Who this nigga is with all this motherfucking weed. I'm ready for it though, Kwame. I'm built for it. I'm built for it, bro. But hopefully we can get a response for you. And to the Bill Cosby situation, you gotta address the motherfucking criminal justice system. On that note, hold on, before I go, let me just read some more comments before I jet, honey. AA says, yes, the beef sector needs to stop doxing innocent people. Look, it's going to be like somebody going to get fucked up on this motherfucker real bad. Like, it's going to be some real bad shit that's going to take place, and it's going to change everything for every fucking body. But that's one of the issues with social media platforms like YouTube. They wait until shit gets worse before they then want to do some massive sweep that everybody has to be inconvenienced by, when it would have never got that bad for you to have to double up on the regulations if you just would have reinforced what the fuck you already had in motherfucking place to begin with. Don't get me started. Distant Lover says, yes, he's homo. Is he really? Kwame's not homophobic. Is Kwame homophobic, y'all? Kwame is not homophobic. Kwame is a level-headed, nice black man. Okay? I want to believe that until I am forced to not believe it. Okay? You know what I think? I think Kwame doesn't have an issue with the gay community, but I think that because he's now a huge figure on social media, that he might be biting the young pharaoh apple, you know, because his demographic is made up of like the blackest of our people, like black people, like urban black folk, okay? like men's men, you know, like niggas, you know, and so and because I read the rhetoric sometimes, like in that Jason Lee, like when he was doing the live last night, I was reading the comments, the stream was fine. And of course niggas wasn't here for it, okay? Because niggas don't be here for a homosexual any fucking way. Now you're up here watching a homosexual not in his best light. Of course that just makes it easy for people who already don't see it for homosexuals to just like go ham with the fucking homophobia. Like, of course that was going to be the fucking case. Like, but you know, you have nice gay men like me on YouTube. You know, can we have some, you know, like, and that's another thing. Like, I keep saying I'm a go. That's another fucking thing, Kwame. Like, really, you could have at least balanced the shit, right? Like, you can't let Jason Lee be the representation, right? Like, you need to come behind that video last night and you need to post up Wanda Sykes or some shit. Like, show the other side. Like, show the other manifestation. Show the other men of the community who out here, you know, doing grassroots movements, who out here like saving the nation, doing good work. Like, straight men, y'all cannot wait until gay men fuck up and then y'all want to use us as content to berate us and judge us and to expose us for our misogyny and all of this shit, because y'all don't use that same platform to put us up there and celebrate us when we're doing the right thing. So once again, like, it's a little bit of the hypocrisy from me, homie. It's the hypocrisy from me, homie. Like, y'all can't do it. You can't push that narrative like that, homie. Okay. I personally don't think Kwame is. I'm holding on for dear life. Like I said, sometimes I hear him speak real nice. Sometimes I hear him speak, you know, he be leaning to the left, honey. Okay. Dear Vet says, love is love. Folks need to mind their damn business. Period, Vet. Period. He stated his first cousin is gay and he loves all the same. Yeah, I heard him say the same thing. So we'll see. We'll see if he responds to this video. Please make sure that you guys subscribe, share this video out. I love you guys. I gotta get out of here. It's 11 fucking p.m., honey. I gotta go. But yeah, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Check out 2 Men and a Lady on the Wiley Show tomorrow at 8 p.m. We will be live and in color with our other co-host, Katie Talk 1-on-1. So be in the building on your Friday night. Oh, wait a minute. I got a cash out. I got a shout out. I know you exposed a lot. What is your email? My email, Dolly, is, I don't do a lot of exposing, but it's Consciouztv, which is my channel name, at gmail.com. It's in the banner that's playing across the screen. For anybody who wants my information, email, PayPal, Cash App, is Consciouztv at gmail.com. My channel name at gmail.com. So just email me whatever over. Hey T Trisha, what's going on, baby? Let me shout out my cat. Oh, I got a few Cash Appers tonight. Let me shout you guys out because you guys are amazing. I want to shout out to Bet. Thank you so much. Your hair is light. Thank you, baby. God bless you. Your hair is life. Thank you. Let me remove Bill Cosby so y'all can get one more good look. Let me remove the comments real quick so y'all can get one more good luscious. This is the best kinky straight I've ever had in my life, and it came from Toots Bundles. So you guys check out Toots. I'm gonna leave her information in. This hair blends so seamlessly with your natural hair. It's just, it gives the flow. It's just thebomb.com. Hayes Way, thank you so much for your Cash App, for love, your energy, and I hope you feel the support. Baby, I feel all the support. That's why I'm glowing. You guys are fucking amazing. We are in a great place over here in life, over here on our platform. We're just in a great place. So I love you guys. I feel the fucking energy. You guys got me pumped up. You guys are making me bring out the best in myself as a commentator. So I'm just on a roll right now. I'm in good spirits. I'm in high spirits. There's a lot of great things coming for your commentator. That's also going to be good for us. So you guys just keep watching. There's quite a bit of amazing surprises in store. Okay, so just watch us move, honey. I love you guys, and good night.